So welcome to the flip class. Now the way I want to do this is I want to show you not just what it is, but how we do it. And so I'll show you some of the techniques that we use while I'm trying to explain how we use them. So first, this one I'm making with PowerPoint. PowerPoint's a pretty simple way of making an online video. And if you see in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little flashing red-blue dot. That's because I'm doing all of this right now in ActivInspire. So I'm showing you how to use PowerPoint by using another method in ActivInspire where we just do what's called a screen capture. So in PowerPoint, you make your PowerPoint, and this one's just a standard PowerPoint. You go up to the tab where it says Slideshow, and you say Start recording from the beginning. And you record your timings and your narration, and it's attached to each slide. So you're recording it slide by slide. So don't talk over the transitions. But when you're ready, there we go. So the flip class. Why on earth would I do something this crazy? So we're going to talk here about the blended class and the flip class, and they're very similar. But a blended class, that's where you use technology to give students more control over how they experience your class, mostly using videos, possibly by flipping the class. And flipping the class just means that you're going to switch what used to be your class lectures with what your homework is. And so you do the homework in class and you do those lectures at home. So why would you do this? The first reason, the easiest buy-in, is students who miss class can stay caught up. That's the one that doesn't matter what you're doing with the rest of it, but that one's pretty easy. When students are absent, they'll know what you did. There's no more excuses. But second, some students just need to hear the lesson again because they got distracted, they drifted off, and so for many of them, just the video format for a lecture is better. They can pause, they can rewind it, they can play it at double the speed, half the speed. They just have more freedom with how they want to listen to you. For us, this third reason was more the reason. You have something better to do with your time together, namely collaboration or teacher feedback. So I wouldn't bother trying to flip the class if you don't have something that you want to do with the time together. Something that they can only do here that they couldn't do at home. So for us, homework was often frustrating for the kids if they went home and did the work and came back and found out they had done it wrong. So that was kind of what started it for us. Also, they just have resources here that some of them just don't have at home. And so this was a good place to do certain kinds of work and to have them collaborate with each other. So my PowerPoint's done. Now I can spit it out into a video. It'll tell me how long the thing is based on the timings that I've set up. And that's okay. Go up to File, click File, and then export it. Export and create a video. And your quality, it probably doesn't need to be high definition quality. Low quality is probably good, but I guess internet quality is good for the internet. So if you're going to put it on YouTube, put it at internet quality. If you're trying to work with the file some other way, maybe low quality works. But click low quality. And the timing doesn't matter because it's just going to go with the timing that I've already rehearsed. Save it. And now see in the bottom here, it's going to show me my progress, that it's making the video. And so once it's done, I'll have a video that I can then put to YouTube, put it in different places, and we'll go more into that a little bit later on. So our next method is the one that I'm already using it right now, and that's the ActivInspire screen recording. But just to show you where it is, go into your tools, and I can do full screen recorder, or I can decide for myself what area I want. I've been using a full screen recorder here, but I'd ordinarily put that little black box in the middle of the screen as my screen so they don't see all the clutter. Click that, and it sets me up with that little recording window that's in my lower left-hand corner. So next question is, how do I know the students are watching these videos? If you put them on as homework and there's something you want them to see. If their lectures are going home, you don't want them to skip the lecture. So how do you know that they're watching these videos? I have kind of two ways I've come down on this. One is you can test them on it. So if it's important and you want them to find out what they know, then give them a little test to see if they know it. There's lots of ways of doing that. You can put coded language in there, like well, what was the joke that I made here, or what picture did I tell you to draw here, and so you can just test them in different ways. What I do, and Mr. Knorr and I do, is we do a left-hand page where they write down their questions, and we kind of gauge by the quality of their questions whether they read it or not. And sometimes we'll put a trivia question that's pretty obvious, like what was the song that we played at the end of it. We'll put little stingers at the end, little jokes. But the other philosophy on this, and I sometimes use this too, which doesn't matter. It's their loss. If they don't want to watch it, it's like attention in class. You can't force their attention. If they don't want to watch it, then that's their loss. And if the content is good and if it's helpful, they'll watch it. And if they want to try and find ways around it, they will. So you're just putting it out there, and it's up to them whether they want to know more or not. And if the video honestly doesn't help, it's probably not being used the right way. If they don't need the content to do well on a test or to have a class discussion, then it might not be worth their time to do. And I try to remind myself that students are going to find the path of least resistance. So if it's possible for them to not watch the videos and to get by without it, then that's what they're going to do. If there's no added value, they're going to skip it. And so just understand that fact, and then from there try and solve the problems. This also works as a requirement if you watch them do it, or if it actually ends up helping them. So in class, you can, I have kids who don't watch them at home, watch them here. That's kind of what makes the flip class good, is you can just flip it back for kids it doesn't work for. If kids say, I don't like watching the videos at home, or I can't watch the videos at home, you can always say, all right, then just watch it in class, and now you have class as it normally is. You watch the lecture here, you ask your questions in class, and then you go home and do some homework, which odds are those students probably won't do anyway. But also having students be able to put headphones on actually helps them to watch that. So this is a fourth way of making the videos. You could use an app, and there's lots of different apps. The one I'm using right now is called Explain Everything, and this has a lot of features in it. It's pretty powerful what it can do. So like I can move myself around, make myself bigger. I can pull in other files if I have images that I want to use, or if I have a page of notes that I want to use. This is useful for that, and I can also write on there. So I guess the next question we have would be, where do I put the videos? YouTube is one of the easiest ways, I found. Post them on there. You have your channel. It's the students already know how to get on it. The downside is that you don't have control over what else they watch on there. So if YouTube is sending them to other content you don't want them to see, well, you don't really have control over that. The other downside is sometimes I found videos I post to YouTube don't make it to the firewall here at school, so they can watch it at home, but they might not always be able to watch it in school. Most of the time, that hasn't been a problem, and I haven't quite figured out why it's a problem with some of the videos that I make. But so YouTube is pretty good for that. It's hard to not treat this like paper. Google Drive. Your first name dot last name at lcps.org. Downside of that is you have a limitation on how many what videos you can have in your Google Drive. So that's that. So the third method you could use, there are other methods, but just that we used, is just the plain and simple, get a camera out and tape yourself doing something. That's pretty easy to do. Just get a camera. In this case, I have an iPad on a camera mount, and I have little microphone right here, but even that's not a necessity. That's just a added quality. The other option I wanted to show you was Loudon Vision, which you can use for a lot of things, but we host Loudon Vision, or we host our videos on Loudon Vision sometimes directly. Loudon Vision lets you upload the actual video, and they can download the actual video. So that's got a value if you want them to take the video and then do what they want with it. So if they're going on a cruise, sometimes you'll be able to download the video and then put it onto their iPod or iPhones. That's got value. So this is the my history page on Vision. I keep my files here. I used to put the actual videos hosted here. So the hosting just means like that's where the video exists, but you can also present it here and host it someplace else. So most of the videos that are right here on my page are hosted someplace else, and they're linked on here. It's like Google Classroom, except here you have the entire school year in one place. It's easier sometimes that way. So some of them are on YouTube, but another option. SchoolTube is a site we've used for a long time because it's pretty safe as far as the content on there. There's nothing objectionable, and it gets through our firewall just fine. Kids can watch it. The one downside that I've had a problem with, the more I use Chromebooks, the more I get bothered by the fact that you can't go full screen on a Chromebook in SchoolTube. It's a small thing, but SchoolTube works pretty well for hosting your videos. Another option that you could use is called Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is a website where you start with YouTube, so you have to be on YouTube, but you can also bring a video in from YouTube. It doesn't have to be yours. It can be any video that you want the kids to watch, and then you can then control the timing and the pacing of the video so that the kids have to watch it a certain way. If you want them to not be able to fast forward, you want to make sure that they are watching the whole video. Sometimes kids will fast forward it if they feel like they're just copying the notes. So it forces them to watch it, and you can inject little quizzes. And those quizzes can come back to you with some results if you have the ability to look at them if you want to. And it will tell you how they're doing and whether or not they're learning from the content.